Welcome to our evening session for this year's 2020 Love Conference. Love standing for Live Openly, Value Everyone. We are super excited to have an amazing guest with us. I think by this time I can call you a friend now. I feel like we've talked several times now, so now we're buddies.
Yeah,
Can I say
we're
we're
definitely
friends?
buddies.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So one of our friends of our office. I'm gonna give folks a few more minutes to hop in, and so if you are in, please feel free to kind of drop your name and which school or college you're coming from in the chat, and we'll get started in 1 second. And while you all are introducing yourselves, I'll go ahead and say hello. My name is Tania Irwin. Not only do I serve as a director of leadership development here at Temple University, but I will also be serving as your ghost host for this evening's session. And so, again, super, super excited to really tackle digital entrepreneurship with our guest, Shawn Anthony, who I think, if I can say so, is kind of like the podcast expert. Can I use that word?
Yeah,
Can
you
we
can
drop
use
that word in 2020?
it. We can drop it. Definitely drop it.
Okay. Awesome, right? And so super, super excited. I know he doesn't want me to do this, I'm gonna do it anyway. And just reading Shawn's bio because he is super awesome and definitely a definition of a self-starter, right? And so Shawn Anthony at a young age knew what it took to stand out from the crowd, right? At age 14, he became a serial entrepreneur by collaborating with others to host his own events, bringing people together by the thousands. He always found himself in situations where he collaborated with peers to help them reach a goal or serve a cause. Later in life, Shawn's ability to collaborate and facilitate was identified by corporate leaders who elevated him to various leadership positions when he was promoted 6 times in 4 years. As the host of Schools Over, Now What, the podcast, and as the lead mentor at the Now What Academy, Shawn now serves students and professionals across the world who are stuck in their situations. He uses his gift to bring together industry leaders who share their stories and wisdom. His mission is to help others identify their gifts, create roadmaps to success, and offer practical advice and motivation to complete the journey. As you all are navigating with this new thing that we're calling life, we thought it was really, really important to have someone kind of come and share the experiences of really promoting themselves and learning how to be creative, right? And creating avenues and channels. And I couldn't think of a better person to share that story with you. And so without further ado, please join me in welcoming one of our featured speakers this evening, Shawn Anthony. Hey!
Let's let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Hey, look, Tania, that was an awesome intro. I appreciate you. I'm excited to be here. I mean, with such a an amazing university like Temple. So I'm gonna kick this thing off real quick. These guys have brought me on to teach you about how to build a personal brand. So you got a little bit quick intro to me, right? At 14, my brother went off to college. And what's crazy about that is he started to become a huge party promoter. We're talking about, guys, parties with like Rick Ross. Drop a one in the chat if you ever heard of these artists. Parties with Rick Ross, Young Jeezy. I mean, you name it. He was out here doing it and crushing it. So at 14, I got exposed to all of those things. I'm talking about 14. That was a nice, intro, but let's be real. I was 14 in the club standing on couches. How crazy is that? But what I learned was how to maneuver, how to market myself, how to brand myself. And I went back home, as she mentioned, and I threw my first party, guys, and I made $6,000. And you know what that did for me? That ignited this whole mindset of building a brand and being an entrepreneur, which led me to go off to college where I completely crushed it doing those things and led on to my corporate career where I stumbled across a podcast. And what's cool about a brand is that right now you need one. But here's the thing. I want to know how motivated you guys are before I break this down and give you all of the secrets today. Drop a one in the chat right now if somebody in your family is depending on you to make it. I'm give you guys some time. Drop a one in the chat box right now. If you're the first person in your family to graduate, I need to see it. I need to see it. And drop a one in the chat box right now if you know somebody is counting on you to create a legacy for yourself. Or better fact, drop a one in the chat box right now if you have a gift, you have an idea that needs to be birthed in this new reality, and the people in the world needs to see what you're capable of. Because if that's the case, if you drop the one in that chat, if that's your vibe, you're going to enjoy this presentation. And by far, I don't know who's speaking before me or who's speaking after me. This is going to be the one you're going to love the most because I'm going to give you all the game. So let's jump right into it. Grab your pencil, grab your paper. I'm going to break down social media in a way you've never seen it before. What's so crazy about podcasts is podcast has helped me expand my brand. Literally, before I got on this Zoom call with you guys right now, I was just talking to somebody I had on my show. Drop a one in the chat if you love Beyonce. You love all things about Beyonce and her music. I had her father, Matthew Knowles, on the podcast. He's actually a mentor of mine, and we talk on a regular now. Never would have happened until I started to do a podcast. So let's break this down for you right now. Here is the framework. And if you don't get anything through the Love Conference, if you catch this right here, this is worth every single second that you put into growing yourself right now, because social media is where it's at, and there's no better time than right now when everybody's at home. So here's the branding framework that we're going to talk about today. I got my water bottle ready because I know I'm going to give you guys so much game, I'm going to get thirsty. But let me tell you something about branding. Make sure whenever you're on these cameras, if yet they haven't sent you a check yet, don't show the logo yet. So we're not going to shout them yet until they send that check. But let's break down this framework. Why you need a personal brand. I'm going to break it down for you. 3 steps to building a brand. And there's 3 steps, guys. Those 3 steps is knowing yourself, positioning yourself, and presenting yourself. I'm also going to give you a social media strategy today. If you're on Instagram at least twice a day, drop a one in the chat. I need to see those ones light up. If you're on social media, double clicking, liking photos, drop a one in the chat, right? Because you're going to get a social media strategy that you've never seen before. Also, you're going to get an engagement strategy. Who wants to talk and put something out if people don't talk back and converse back? That's the reason why I got you guys dropping the one in the chat, because due to COVID-19, I got to do this the virtual way and not in front of you and give you a whole bunch of energy. So you're going to need an engagement strategy. And last but not least, if you like this free game I'm giving you guys today, if you're enjoying any of this content, I'm going to give you guys my pitch. She's mentioned, some of the amazing people I've able to link up with, the Grant Cardones of the world, the Ed Milet's of the world, MTV, TRL, you name it. I've been a part of all of those things. And before we click this next side, I want you guys to screenshot this right now. Tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _. Just tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _ because Temple is where it's at. I want to show, my thousands of followers where it's at today, because there's no better place than here with you guys. In the words of my favorite guy, Jay-Z, you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. And I appreciate that. So let's talk about why you need a personal brand. The definition of a personal brand is this. It's a widely recognized and largely uniform perception or impression of an individual based on their experience, their expertise, any of their actions or achievements within a community, industry, or the marketplace at large. Drop a one in the chat right now if you know it's important for you to have a personal brand. You can't depend on these companies. You can't depend on these jobs. You can't depend on someone else cutting you a check. You got to be somebody. Drop a one in the chat if that's important to you, because we're going to break it down today on why you need a personal brand. So here's 3 steps to building a brand. If you catch this 3-step process, you're good to go. The first step is knowing yourself. And I want you to write a question right now on your paper. I want you to write this question. What do I want the following things to look like? So they can give you guys some time to write that down. What do you want the following things to look like? In life, if you learn life at a young age, if you learn life quickly, it comes down to 7 equities. What do you want your mind, body, soul, family, friends, right? You with me? Business and money, right? What do you want those 7 things to look like a year from now? Drop in the chat right now if you want your money to be on another level a year from now. Drop a one in the chat. Drop a one in the chat right now if you want your family to be on another level this time a year from now, right? What do each of these equities look like a year from now for you? Now you say, all right, Shawn, I got it. This is what it is. But here's the hard part about the 7 equities. You have to then look at this and say, okay, what's most important to me, right? So I know what I want it to look like a year from now. I know what I want it to look like 3 years from now. But what's most important to me? Because as you rank these things, you're going to notice something about you. We can't build a brand. You can't build a personal brand at all if you don't know who you are. And for some of you watching this right now and listening to this right now, there's something out here that's a non-negotiable for you. I want to know in the comments, out of these 7 equities, if you were to put one thing as the number one thing for you, what would that be? Give you some time. For some people listening and watching this right now, it might be like your mind is the number one thing. Like you might go crazy. You might, you know what, I need to focus on my mind, right? For some of you right now, it might be something completely different. It might be your family, right? It might be more of those things. I see someone said soul. I feel you on that. I see the ones there too. I see a lot of them. Some people said their soul. So I get you on that, right? And some people, they don't play about money at all, which is also very, very important. I see family coming through. Emma with says family. I see Cheryl says soul. All right. I see him coming through. I need you guys to be active because you're about to get a lot of good info today. Okay. Now here's the thing about these non-negotiables. You're going to gain clarity. I mean, you're going to really, really start to visualize what's next for you. And when you write this stuff down, there's a level of commitment. How many of you know there's a level of commitment when you put something down on a piece of paper and you look at it? You don't just walk by, you look at it. And your goals are now written down. You're committed to those things. There's also an alignment that will happen. There's an alignment that will happen where your priorities are becoming who you are, right? And then here's the cool thing about writing down this practice and focusing on these 7 equities. Fam, you now have the roadmap. You got the roadmap. You have the keys and the blueprint for what you want your brand, your life to be. Drop a 1 right now if this is making sense. I need to make sure this is making sense. We ain't got to slow it down. We ain't got to dumb it down. This is Temple, and I know Temple coming here correct. Drop a 1 in the chat right now if this is making sense. Let me know. Give you guys some time. Let's keep this thing rolling. The second step that's important is really positioning yourself. We talked about knowing yourself. We know what that takes, right? But let's talk about positioning yourself. There's somebody that you look up to right now that you're a fan of, right? Drop a celebrity, somebody right now that you look at social media. I'm curious to know, who are you a fan of right now? Drop in the chat box, who do you go to social media to look up? When you cut your TV on, who do you watch? When you go to the movies, what movies do you watch? Who are you a fan of? Because the second step in positioning yourself is, I'm going to show you how to go from being a fan of somebody to being a peer. And I want to read some of these chats. Let's see, I'm going to open up. See, someone said Rihanna. Rihanna's phenomenal. And she keeps reinventing herself too. She's a boss. She keeps doing that. I see Rihanna came through. That's awesome. Okay. Now that you know who you're a fan of, let's talk about the strategy of going from fan to peer of these people. Here's the thing. You have to start to find your tribe. Here's a key tip. I mean, this whole process is you cannot forget to engage. You can't. So here's how you can do it. Find pages that inspire you. If you want to screenshot any slide at all today, this is the one. Find pages that inspire you, and we're going to do it in this entire class today. We're going to go over and how to do it. I'm going to show you the results. After you do that, go to the comment section. What you want to see is people who are saying, yo, I'm for this, I support this. Not the people dropping all these emojis. Anybody can drop an emoji. Anybody can drop a heart eye emoji. But people who are really, really into the post, right? And then you need to engage and start to add value. When Tania, and Sarah and your whole entire Temple team reached out to me, they said, yo, they want strategies. So here you go. We're about to give you strategies, something that you can implement now to build your personal brand while you're still in college. That's crazy. So here's the strategy. Notice I mentioned before we kicked everything off, some of these guys I've been around, and some of these rooms I've been around, and follow me at Shawn R. Anthony _, and you'll see all of these things. And one of the guys that I had the episode, was episode 42. I had the privilege, and I flew down to Laguna Beach. I don't know if you guys have been to Laguna Beach on the west side, but it is crazy. So I'm in Laguna Beach, and I flew down to meet a guy by the name of Ed Mylett, who has the #1 business podcast in the world. He's worth over $400 million with no debt. Drop a 1 in the chat box right now if you could use $400 million. I should see the most comments I ever seen up here. Drop a 1 in the chat right now if you could use $400 million. This guy was worth over $400 million. And a podcast and branding myself got me directly to him. So here's how you do it. Identify those people you look up to, admire. I knew I wanted to be around this person. I wanted to learn the game from him, so I identified him. Right? He has over 2 million followers. The engagement is out of his roof. He has huge guests on his show. Literally, and I'll tell you guys this because, this is a close-knit community, and this is Temple. Literally, before I actually got into his home, he received a phone call probably 10 minutes prior to me getting there from Oprah Winfrey. How crazy is that? And what's even more crazier than that is literally before I showed up, as I'm showing up, I see celebrities leaving his house as I'm coming, right? So he has all these huge guests on the show, and I knew that's something I wanted to be a part of. But let me break down the process of how you can do this. Let me give you something you can implement as soon as you finish watching this, fam. Go to the comment section of whoever that is may be for you. Everyone has somebody up here that they are, looking up to, inspired by, right? Go to that comment section, find a photo with a lot of comments. This is going to lead you, point blank simple, to the community of people. It's going to lead you to it. After you find that, what you want to do is there's this thumb tab feature on Instagram. You can save things. You can create your own folders. You can create your own files. You're going to want to save the photo and create a tab that you can go back and look at so you can engage with those people on IG. So as you create the tab, notice I put Ed Mylett's tribe. For the person who said Rihanna, they might put Rihanna tribe, right? Or Beyonce or whoever it is for you. There's somebody right now that's doing something that you think is just dope and phenomenal. You can call it whatever you want to call it, right? But call it their tribe, because here's what you're going to do. Once you go to that comment section, identify the photo, you want to save the photo. Here's the next strategy that you're going to be able to do. You have to find a comment that you can relate to. This is a huge tip, right? Like you have to, here's the thing about this whole process and this strategy I'm giving you right now. That's this thing called real estate. When I look at my phone, like real estate. Every part on my phone, every piece of social media, every chart, every single comment, every single profile, I look at it as land and real estate. So I need to figure out how can I gain more real estate and show up on more people's pages. Not only that, it's an attention game. You want to get in front of the right people, again, right in front of your tribe. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to hit like. So right now, if you notice right here at the very bottom, I am Johnny B, right? I hit like on his comment that he left on Ed Mylett's page. So this automatically sends him a notification that, okay, Shawn R. Anthony _ has liked. So you'll get that notification. Drop a 1 in the chat if you ever received a notification that somebody liked anything on your Instagram page or your social media. Do you receive a notification on your phone? Drop a 1 in the chat right now if you receive a notification when somebody likes something. So here's the thing. After you receive that notification, the next step is this. Go to their page. And then now you found the page, you saw Ed Mylett's page, you see the comment, you liked it. Now I want you to go to their page, look for a post that you can add value to, right? Something that you can pour into, not the heart emojis, right? So that you really can leave, your 1 sentence, your 2 sentence, something of value. And then it's going to hit another notification. So now this person, Johnny B, is going to get hit up twice. And now I'm going to add a comment, or perhaps, I might add him. That's 3 notifications. So Johnny B, and let me know right now in the chat, I am Johnny B is at home. Once I do this, he's like, yo, who's this kid? Who's this guy? If someone gave you 4 notifications immediately within 5 minutes, drop a 1 in the chat if you would go look at their page. I'm curious to see this. Drop a 1 in the chat. If one person gave you 4 notifications in like 5 minutes, drop a 1 in the chat. Would you go check out their page? Would you go see what's going on? What's happening? This is curiosity, right? You see a lot of ones. You're going to be like, oh, what's going on? So guess what I Am Johnny B did? Let's look. So we're going to break down this strategy right now because I came here to give away game. And if anybody knows me, this is you guys are getting exclusive. I don't just tell people this. I'm telling Temple this because you guys deserve to walk from this conference, to walk away from the Love Conference, ready to change your life. That's how you should feel, right? So here's the thing about this engagement strategy. Your tribe will start to align. Look to the right. Check out the photo. What happened to I'm Johnny B? He started lighting my page up, right? Here's the thing. People will start to engage back with you. So if you look at your analytics and you can change your page to like a business page, entrepreneur page, or author page, or whatever it is that you do, right? Get you a trade, get you some sort of something to stand on that you truly believe that you're passionate about. You need to get one of those, right? And run with it. Because then you can change your profile to one of these types of profiles. You'll notice the visitation is going to increase. Your likes are going to start to increase, right? Strangers, cool thing is strangers are about to become followers. I'll say it again. Strangers are about to become followers. Comments start to increase. Your tribe starts to grow. And if you look at the photo right here to your right, and this is all within 5 minutes, I Am Johnny B, he engages 7 times with my account. Not only that, he hit the follow button. Drop a 1 in the chat box right now if this has been like a mind-blowing, crazy, cool strategy. What we're doing here right now at the Love Conference is we're giving you a case study. You don't get this anywhere else. You won't get this anywhere else. I gotta make sure this isn't, going too crazy over anybody, but I want to make sure that this strategy that you're getting right now, if you implement it in your life and in your business that you should probably create. And the cool thing about businesses is that if you're still in school, and all of you guys are, you should start now. There's no reason for you to wait. There's no reason for you to wait. The cool thing about it right now is what's going to happen. And this is why I created a podcast, Schools Over Now What. Definitely check that out on iTunes. The podcast was created, as Tania mentioned, it was created for people who are either about to graduate college, like all of you, right? Either walked across that stage or never walked across that stage, gave up in life, right? And had to figure out what's next. What now? What do I do? And some of you right now are at this conference asking yourself that question. And if that's the case, your Schools Over Now What podcast should be your favorite podcast in the world because it answers those questions by showing you all of these millionaires, celebrities, and business owners and entrepreneurs. And some of those things are about to be what you guys are about to become. Someone on this conference right now is going to become a millionaire. Someone's going to become a celebrity. But the only way they're going to do that is they have to put forth the work and the effort. And there's no better time and no better place than start right now. Because what happens is that you graduate, and a lot of the people that you sit in classrooms with or people who are on a Zoom call right now, they go their separate ways. This is the time to network and connect. Drop a 1 if my random spiel motivated the mess out of you today. Drop a 1 in the chat right now if my random spiel got you saying, oh, somebody on this Zoom call I need to know. Somebody's up here, right? At the Love Conference. So here's the final step. Now that you're getting all of these strategies, you're getting all of these tips, the final step is presenting yourself, right? This is so key. This is probably outside of the strategy game. This is one of my most exciting steps because now you've done the legwork. You know who you are, your position. Now you just got to show up. Here's the difference between you showing up. You have to tell a story in everything that you do. And what I mean by that is you have to educate, entertain, and inspire. I'm gonna tell you guys a story right now because this is only facts, and the only reason I should do it is because we're here. 8 out of 10 Black African American men who come from where I come from in Rocky Mount, North Carolina, are either dead or in jail. But you're looking at the 20% that is neither one of those things. And here's what I've done with my life, right? I just educated you by giving you a statistical fact, right? I just entertained you by saying, look, your boy's still here, right? I'm still here. That's unique. And I'm inspiring you because there's something in that message that's going to help you know, okay, this guy is moving different. Drop a 1 in the chat if you caught that. Drop a 1 in the chat if you know how important it is to educate people. Your story right now is better than anybody else's story. There's somebody right now that will relate to you more than they relate to Rihanna. And someone mentioned Rihanna's their celebrity. Somebody's listening to this right now that relate to you more than anybody else. Somebody's story is the most powerful thing. And the best thing you can do right now is tell your story. And never feel like your story has been told too many times. You know, sometimes people say, oh, I don't want to say it. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. And before we got on this call and before we did this conference today and before I got up here as a speaker, nobody or probably very few people knew my entire story, and I'm still telling it. I'm featuring on 5 podcasts a month from 5 to 7 different podcasts. I've been featured in articles like Yahoo Finance, Thrive Global, and many more. And I'm telling the same story. And that excites people because they've never heard of it. So what is your story? Drop a 1 in the chat right now if you have a unique story that somebody needs to hear. Drop a 1 in the chat right now if you know ways of you could possibly entertain people. Or drop a 1 in the chat right now if you have survived something in life that people would look at and say, that's inspirational. I need to see a lot of the ones come through because everybody in here is unique. Everybody. So here's the cool thing, and we're doing this because this is temple, and this is important for me, is that somebody has watched and listened to this entire conference today, and they want to know, look, Shawn, how you get these celebrities? They want to know, somebody wants to create their own show, right? If you're watching this right now, somebody wants to create their own show. I don't give this away to nobody, but we're going to give it away to you guys right now, and I'll follow up with Tania in case you guys miss out on this and getting this information. If you take out your phone right now, if you text the words pitch deck together, don't separate it, text it together, pitch, PITCH together to 44222, you're going to get my official script. This is what I do when I send out something to somebody and I'm trying to land a guest. Here we are right there at Laguna Beach with Ed Milet, the guy who was worth 400 M's at his amazing home where he's had all these celebrities. And we're out in LA doing a podcast. And guys, I'm going to give you that template. You can just take it. But here's the thing. The reason why I'm willing to give it away is because somebody's listening to this right now and they're not going to implement anything. Only a small fraction of people implement. I want you guys to be that small fraction. If you're ready to implement some of these strategies that I've given you today, drop a 1 in the chat. If you're going to take this information and do something with it, drop a 1 in the chat right now, because that is going to be what makes somebody different from somebody else, is that they're willing to go implement and be actionable when they're given strategies, tools, and resources, as you should. Okay? So I hope you guys and I left this on the screen for a little bit longer, and that's text pitch deck to 44222 so you can get the free game. So you can go start whatever you want to start. Somebody right now probably had no idea about doing a podcast, and now they're like, you know what, Shawn, I want to make it happen. I also I want to make sure you guys have my contact information. So here's the mini platforms, and this is before we can pass it over to any Q&A you guys may have, because I can imagine you have some questions, right? You have some questions, right? You're in front of somebody, and if you don't have a question, here's the moment where you can start thinking about the question. Whenever you get in any room, I want you guys to know a couple things. Always know your audience, know who you're speaking to, but whenever you have somebody's time, ask something. Ask something. Curiosity is what's going to get you to the next level. Even if you can't even think of it, just ask a random question that leads to another question that you might get some game from, because you never know when you have these moments again. So here's ways you can contact me. I want to make sure you guys are screenshotting this. Tag me at Shawn R. Anthony _ and please drop the underscore. It's only one underscore. Crazy thing about social media is people love to create fake pages. I had fake pages running all over the place. But definitely, this is the only place you can catch me at Shawn R. Anthony _ Screenshot it, tag me. I want to shout you guys out. I want to show you guys love. Also, if you have any questions after this, you're like, look, man, how can I do this? You can download plenty of things in my link, in my bio, where we have the free podcast starter kit. We have free master classes and webinars where you guys can learn how to do this and break it down. But it's so important that you build a personal brand. And I want to make sure you guys know how to do that, which is why we broke it down, giving you the strategies that I use and I implement each and every single day to make things happen. And most importantly, podcast will be nothing without having you guys listening and tuning into it. So definitely pull out your phone on iTunes. You can listen to us on all audio platforms, whether you're on Spotify, whether, it's 2020. I know some people might be using a Droid. No hate. We got Stitcher too, which is another podcast platform, but we're everywhere. And as school's over, now what? On all audio platforms, phenomenal episodes to find out, what's next for you in life. I'm excited that I've been able to kind of speak to you all today because I was once in each and every single one of your shoes. I was on a yard, and I was on a yard a little bit different because I threw a lot of crazy parties. At the end of the day, I was on a yard just like you guys are, communicating, networking, leveraging, and making things happen. I appreciate y'all, and I appreciate, doing this presentation. And now I want to toss it to you guys to ask anything you want. Remember, when you got somebody at any point in your life, I don't care if it has nothing to do with what they're talking about, always ask a question. Huge shout out to Tania, Sarah, the whole Temple team. You guys have done an amazing job putting this on, because when I was younger and at your age right now, I wish we had things like this. This is what COVID-19 brings. It brings other forms of communication. And right now, everybody's on the same playing field. Nobody's traveling all over the place. So right now, get started in your dreams and activate your goals. That being said, chats, light up the chat. Let me know a question you might have from this presentation. That's why we save the time. Let me know a question you might have from this presentation. Has this been influential for you right now? Has this been a game changer for you? Let me know in the chat and let's talk about it. Okay, I see. Open the chat box. I see someone says yes. I see someone says yes. This has been influential for you. What questions do you have? Temple?
Hi, Shawn. Thank you for coming today. So one of the question is, if you could leave us with only one piece of advice, what would it be?
A great question. The advice I would give you is the advice I say after every single podcast, and that's dream it, believe it, go out and get it. Because at the end of the day, sometimes we don't have the ability to see what we want out of life. So we got to literally dream it, right? We got to walk out and say, okay, this is what my new house looks like. This is what my family looks like. This is what my cars look like. We got to dream it. We got to believe it can happen. And we have that dream for a reason, whether it's to impact more people, speak on stages, right? And then we really got to go make it happen, right? So in order to make it happen, we got to be actionable. And I hope you guys, after having this amazing conference, that you take some of this information and you're going to make it happen. Go out and get it and be actionable.
Another question we have is, what is your definition of greatness?
Yeah, great question. So my definition of greatness is this: someone who has mastered a skill, and someone who has mastered a skill and has achieved a level that nobody else can reach. And I think of greatness, I started thinking about, some of those guys back here from all these amazing books. I think about Kobe Bryant, the Mamba mentality, 5 championships. I think about LeBron James, who's back here somewhere. That's why I look at like greatness is how do you become a master in your field and acquire a skill that stands out where you leave no room for error. That's greatness.
I have a question. From the time when you start branding yourself to now, have you ever dealt with disappointment or feeling of failures? And if you have, how did you overcome those feelings to continue striving for greatness?
Yeah, I think everyone has a point in life where they kind of doubt themselves when you step out. I would say when that doubt happens, for me, when I very first started the podcast, the doubt was I was just going to bring on a whole bunch of like my college friends who I like loved, adored, DJs, people I had all these parties with. The doubt was I thought that was the only people I could reach. And to get over it is I had to say to myself, I want to do something different. I want to really be intentional and I want to make a leap and throw myself out there and see if someone will respond. And so in episode 7, I said, you know what, I'm gonna just shoot for the stars, right? Like you shoot for the moon, you still land amongst clouds. I shot for a star. I shot for a guy by the name of Ryan Serhant, who was on New York $1 Million Listing. He's worth about $30 million. He's on Bravo. I love Ryan. So I shot for him on episode 7 and got him to agree to do the podcast. So at this point in time, this was like the first huge celebrity I've had on the show. At this point in time, he even asked, hey, do I want to fly up there? At this point, I wasn't ready for flying. I was just wanting to put out great content. So I doubted myself there. But I was determined on putting on a great episode, and he put it on YouTube. And if you ever heard of like YouTube, they have this crazy thing where you can pin comments. And so he puts this episode up on YouTube. People are commenting. And they're like, yo, who is this inspirational person asking Ryan all of these questions? So I got on my phone and I typed and I put, hey, it's School's Over Now with podcast. Listen to Ryan Serhant, episode 7 here. And Ryan pinned the comment, which took it to the #1 place. And this is back in episode 7. The YouTube video gains over 700,000 views. I don't know where it's at now. And with the comment being pinned, I wake up the next day and I see so many thousands on thousands of downloads, all because I had doubted myself. Then I started to believe in myself, and it changed the game for me. So ever since then, I went from doing podcasts with a bunch of, my friends, homies, cool people, to this day, to reaching for the heavy hitters. And I just took the skates off and kept running ever since.
That's beautiful. Another question that was on my mind, and maybe a lot of our attendee was thinking this, beside the initial doubt that we have of ourselves, have you ever encountered doubts from family or friends or any general negativity? And how did you deal with that?
Yeah, I think you gotta think about it like I think everybody sometimes it sounds crazy. I know somebody here can relate. Some of the biggest haters you ever have in your life are your family. And I'm gonna tell you why. And drop a 1 if I just hit you right there and you're like, oh snap, drop a 1 in the chat if that hit you. If that really made you say, oh snap, he might be on to something. Because when you're doing something that nobody has ever done, you're trying to break generational curses. When you're doing something that nobody's ever done, it's viewed at and looked at from other people as possibly lame. But here's the thing, those gifts, those ideas are given to you for a reason. So I think the best way to overcome it is to keep going. And then for me, what helped me so much was I was so consistent. Here's the thing, if you can be so consistent at anything, at some point, all of those haters and all of those doubters are going to start to believe. They're going to go from doubters and haters and naysayers to believers. And so I was consistently showing up. I dropped an episode every single Friday. Tomorrow will make the 126th episode we've dropped every single week consecutively. And after a while, if you just be consistent on anything, all of the hate, all of the doubters, they go away. And they'll become believers, and you'll see your whole product and your brand do something for you. And what it takes is people want to see you be consistent because they're just watching you, thinking and knowing at some point you're going to stop, but you don't want that to happen. So you just got to, stay focused on what you're doing.
Thank you so much. That was truly inspiring.
Thank you.
So I don't see any questions in the chats or the Q&A, but if any attendees would like to connect with Shawn after this webinar, please feel free to do so via his social media, his email, and also through Socio. You can definitely connect. So yeah, thank you again, Shawn, for coming to today's webinar and presenting to us about how to build a personal brand.
You're welcome, guys. Always remember, dream it, believe it, go out and get it.
Thank you.